Truth is, if you're here, you probably will enjoy it.
Yeah, how many total episodes are you up to right now? I wanted to go through and count all of them. I know you don't number them.
We're in the 4th season.
Yeah, we're halfway through the 4th season, and then we've done an interview episode almost every week of those. So if we've done 35 Boy Meets World, or no,
math.
80,
70 Boy Meets World.
yeah, 70 Boy Meets
So we were over 150 probably episodes of the podcast. Yeah.
Right.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You're still counting. Do you need?
We still like each other. It's amazing.
You can take your shoes off if you need.
I would need to very much so, and yours and everybody else's.
Yeah, Jordan Power.
Nice.
And so you guys just recap season 4, episode 10, which makes you pretty much about halfway through the episodes, correct?
Yeah.
How's it been so far? Have you hit your? I mean, from my mind, hearing them, you guys have hit your groove.
Thank you. Yeah, it only took us 150 episodes to hit a groove. It's been really fun. We definitely have enjoyed even the episodes that we end up thinking like, I don't know that this is my favorite episode. We have enjoyed doing the recaps together. We enjoy each other so much. It's been an incredible experience.
It's very interesting that you say you think we've hit our groove, because I feel like that kind of correlates to where we are as actors on the show.
Right.
Like, I feel like on season 4 we've kind of hit our groove as actors, so it's kind of working at the same time. So let's remember this for a future episode.
Right.
We'll talk about it on the podcast. Yes.
Yeah, and one thing I love podcasting. One thing I really love about it is I don't like to do it alone. There's some people do it alone. They ramble to a microphone or a camera for 45 minutes. I need someone to bounce stuff off of.
Yeah.
I need someone to talk to, get feedback. More importantly, I need someone to make fun of as well.
Right.
Which is great. But one of my favorite things, it allows me. We have like a built-in hour of the week where I get together with my friend. Where we're very busy, and sometimes we lose track of each other. But I'm thinking you guys probably make me feel the same way. Where you have a built-in. It's like, hey, we got to record an episode this week. You guys actually get together and see each other and are able to interact with each other.
Yes, that has been really nice. We're often also amazed that we never, and I mean never, run out of things to talk about.
We went to dinner last night, talked for 2 hours.
Talked the whole time.
No one was recording it.
Yeah, it's just, and we'll sometimes get on the computers and we start our Zooms and we're chatting and then we go, we haven't hit record, and we should record some of this. We find ourselves endlessly fascinating.
Yeah, you don't lose that gold in the beginning. I always say if you start talking, like save it for the podcast. You never want to read.
That's one thing that has actually changed in our relationship. Is there are times where we will be having just a normal conversation. We'll be like, save it. We need to talk. We'll talk about this on the podcast. It's like, but we're talking about it now at Friendly's. Like, come on. So it's been interesting though, because the thing we've talked about before as well is, we'll go a week or two sometimes without recording, and then we'll get on and be like, I missed you guys. I missed seeing you. So yeah, I figured with all the time we spent together, we get sick of each other at some point, but we're not there yet.
No, not yet.
No, and I love you guys. You guys described every detail from what it was like being tutored on set in the early days. What it was like doing the table reads. Just it gets so in depth. So I mean, I think us as fans really appreciate that.
Thank you.
For sure.
Thank you.
We appreciate all
of you. It was a conversation pretty early on when we first started. We were like, maybe we should just talk about what our day was like, because most people don't know what a 4-camera show schedule was like. And, for us in particular, it's a weird one because we were going to school. And so we just, that first episode, we were like, let's just walk through what in general. And it's turned out to be one of those things that people really respond to.
Yeah, I think it really
Inside baseball,
Yeah, inside baseball is always great. So this is how it works. We have an audience mic right there, spotlight somewhere. If you want to ask a question, there we go.
Oh, hi.
Are you up first, sir? Who's up first?
like
Well, I guess you are.
It's just me.
Not just.
All right,
We've got 44 minutes of questions. Go.
Answering your question.
There are going to be more people. Kick it off, my friend.
Well, Ms. Fishel, nice to see you again.
Hello, nice to see you.
Mr. Friedle and Mr. Strong, my name is Chris, in case you didn't catch that. But first off, I think I speak for about the rest of the crowd. Thank you all for coming to Kansas City this weekend. It means a lot.
Thank you.
So happy to be back.
So, a year ago, this is familiar because I mentioned to you, Danielle, that met Bill and Bonnie last year. And I asked Bill a related question to what I'm going to ask now is, Was there a lesson from Mr. Feeney or even Bill outside of what we see in the shows that stuck out to you, that resonated with you, and so on and so forth?
It's hard to beat dream, try, do good, the final words of Mr. Feeney. I think like the overall message of Feeney's character, which is that your teacher is important, and the influence that can have on your life, not just in whatever subject you're studying in school, but that it trickles through your relationships with your parents, with the people you love, with your friends. I think that is like just the most beautiful message and kind of the point of Boy Meets World. And that the more we watch the show, the more I'm like, all of this is good stuff. Like a lot of these lessons, I still agree with 95% of everything that's coming out of Feeney's mouth. And that's pretty awesome. So I mean, that's kind of a cheat, but I would say just the overall message that, your teachers are important and that they can change your life in a positive way, that's stayed with me.
I think, the way Bill treated us when we were kids was very much like, you are not a kid, you're a fellow actor. We are on an equal playing field when we're on the set. When we both have scripts in our hands, it means we are equals. And in a kind of, he didn't ever give us acting lessons or teach down to us. He really observed us and let us be kids. And sometimes I think his eyes were rolling back into his head, like, oh, these children. But he didn't ever scold us for it. He let us be kids. And one of the things that I've really loved about Mr. Feeney on the show is seeing the way he knows everything about all the characters, all the people that he loves. He's paying attention and he's absorbing what's going on in their life, even if he's not explicitly stating that he's aware of it. And so when a character comes to him with something, he's already all caught up. He doesn't need to say, well, then start from the beginning. He just knows. And so I have taken that for myself as being a lesson for how I want to be with the people that I care about in my life. I would like, whether you are an adult or a child, I want to have been paying attention enough to your life that if you need something, you don't have to catch me up. I already know.
There was one specific time where he looked at me and he went, "Will, stay out of my dressing room." And it always stuck with me. Because he would hit after a while. It was I always tell people that because people ask this question a lot. What kind of wisdom did he impart? What he taught, I'll just speak for myself. What he taught me more than anything else was by example. He's a very old school actor. So if your call time is 8 o'clock, you're there at 7. You knew your lines. You hit your mark. You were a professional. It didn't matter what age you were. So he really taught me how to be a pro, how to go at, we've all worked with people that will show up a half hour late or 45 minutes late. Maybe they didn't read the script. And that didn't fly with him. So that's something that always stuck with me, was just the professionalism behind the craft. And that's what I took from him more than anything else.
Wonder. And Will, you got some cool lighting going on with your face, by the way.
I have cool lighting going on in my face? Sweet.
Yeah. Planet Comicon Blue, my friends.
This is very great, man, of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
Right into the microphone, your question.
What was the hardest topic in the whole entire series of Boy Meets World?
The hardest topic? You mean, I just would like some clarification. You mean for us to play, or?
Yeah, to clarify for the audience.
I know one that I had trouble with, and I know that you and I talked about. They did an episode later in the season, and they called us into the office, Danielle and I into the office, because they wanted to write an episode about how our characters, which means us, had gained weight. And that was, we both put on smiles, and hey, that's going to be really, as long as it's funny,
that's fine.
That's going to be great. And I think both of us died a little bit inside. So that was tough. That was certainly tough for me.
Yes, that was a hard storyline for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know if I have one.
Really? I wondered if any
You were
of the
an alcoholic
drinking
for an
episodes-
episode.
I know, I wondered if any of the drinking... That was fine, totally easy for you.
I said you were an alcoholic for an episode. Well, that was fun to play. That was like a
acting challenge. Like that's the thing. Like all the things that were tough were actually like I was excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The drama and you know, like I would look at it and be like, all right. Yeah. So I don't know.
Rugby
You
is
said
this.
all right like Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
I look at him and go, all right, all right.
That's a good attitude to have. That wasn't tough. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you?
I just wanted to say, like,
Right into the mic.
Yeah. Just want to say, you guys have been a huge part of my childhood
Aw.
and learning a lot of lessons. But my best friend and myself were wanting to start a podcast sometime. What is your advice to give?
Oh.
We have so much advice.
So where do you want us to start?
Wow,
You already have a concept.
We have a.
Do you have a topic that you know you want to do?
Yes.
Okay, great.
I would say one of the main things that I didn't quite realize is consistency. Releasing as many episodes on a regular basis. I did a podcast for 10 years called Literary Disco, still out there, check it out if you like books. And we would only release like once every 2 weeks, maybe every 3 weeks. And you just never built up an audience. What you realize is that what people respond to the most is consistency. And they don't even really, I mean, obviously people care about us talking about Boy Meets World, but mostly after a while, your listeners really just kind of like being with you, you know, having you in their ear and like feeling like they're a part of this friendship or this group of this conversation. So just consistency is like is one of the main things. Like just always releasing something because people they want to be on this journey with you. They want to be along, on the ride.
I also think not self-editing as you go. Like really, truly just have natural flow of conversation. And if after the fact you think, I don't like the way that came across, or I don't like you can always go back. And what people want to listen to is a conversation with a friend. And so it needs to come across that way.
I'd also say one of the best things we decided to do was, and it might be a little more difficult with just two people, but one person needs to kind of take the lead. If it's two people going back and forth, you can be yelling over each other. One of the smartest things Ryder and I ever did was get together by ourselves and appoint Danielle the leader. She didn't find out about that till later, but we were like, Danielle should be in charge of doing most of the work as far as we're concerned.
Research.
But no, I mean, but it's that you elect the person that can get, Danielle will pull us back on topic. She'll get us back on track. She'll read the cast list. It's certain things where if everybody's in charge, then you just get people yelling over each other. So having one person who's kind of like, I'll sit the lead, and then we'll go from there is actually more important than you think it would be.
Hey, it's worked over 100 episodes.
Yeah.
It's worked. And the consistency is very important. Imagine if Boy Meets World didn't air every week.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't have watched it as much as you did.
No.
So,
Yeah.
And the other piece of advice, just start. Just do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Pretty amazing. Hello. Your question
Hello.
right into the microphone.
My name is Trina. My YouTube user is Treatment100 on YouTube, and also on TikTok it is TreatmentYT. So my question is for all of you: what is your most favorite memory on filming Boy Meets World, and also the most favorite memory on filming Girl Meets World with Sabrina Carpenter and Rowan Blanchard?
Most vivid memory from Boy Meets World.
Vivid is the question or favorite?
Favorite memory.
Favorite. Okay.
That's tough. There's so many.
Gosh, there's so many.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think my favorite memories are not necessarily about the particular episodes. I think my favorite memories are the rituals right before the live studio audience.
Yeah.
My favorite memories of us as a group, of the entire cast, were always the moments where all of our adrenaline was high. We were we had worked hard together as a team throughout the week along with the crew to get to this place where now an audience of people were there and they were ready to watch us perform, and everyone's adrenaline is high. You feel close to everybody. You really feel like you've built something as a team and you're ready to go out and do this thing you love more than anything. And when I think of the show and I think of what my favorite memories, it's always those moments of us looking at each other like, we can do this, let's go. So that's, I think, overall my favorite memory.
another big one that's apropos to this weekend is our Scream episode. We had so much fun filming that. Yeah, to the point that impossible to get through the night. Yeah, so that was a big reason that was so fun, was because the whole cast was together. You know, often if you look at the show, we're split into pairs or groups of 3. So like Will and I never get to work together because he and Jack are off in their storyline, and me and Corey and Danielle are, you know, like it was always sort of split up, and that's one of the few where we were all together for the entire episode. And so as a cast, it's so memorable because it was really fun. With Girl Meets World, my brother and I directed an episode where we went to the rodeo, and it was such an insane shoot day. We had to shoot like 20 pages of exterior, which with a interior multi-camera crew is a lot to ask. And we had to do a stunt with a real, and we were like halfway through the day and it started raining on us. So it was like one of those insane jobs, and yet we came through it, and it was such an accomplishment. So that's one of my favorite memories from Girl Meets World.
I'll take those 2 for Boy Meets World. Those were good, but the one I remember most from Boy Meets World wasn't about Boy Meets World. It was just that I grew up a television junkie. I just wanted to be on a sitcom. So the day that I actually booked Boy Meets World and I actually heard that I had gotten the job will always be one of the best days of my life. And I was very, very rarely involved with Girl Meets World, so I don't really count that one. But yeah, booking Boy Meets World, all the little rituals.
And you had never done a sitcom before Boy Meets World?
No.
You had never done a multi-camera show?
No.
That's crazy!
No. The first time I'd ever been in front of the... Well, I mean,
and then you landed on a hit one.
Nickelodeon.
That's so cool.
I don't know why I put Nickelodeon in quotes. It was an actual thing.
Yeah, it's a real network. It's a real network.
It's like I was on television. No.
That is so
Nickelodeon was
I
like...
never thought about that.
No. My first actual sitcom, I'm playing a part, and there's an audience, was Eric.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
my
cool.
first voiceover was Batman. I do well the first time out.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah. It's downhill after that, but the first time,
you peaked right out of the gate.
Right out of the game. Yeah.
Right off the bat, he's hitting Grand Slam.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, the first show I'd ever gotten was already picked up for 13 because they did the pilot with another actor who played Eric, and there was another actor playing the dad, and so they made some tweaks, and they brought in new characters. So by the time I got there, I was on a show. Like, we were going, so it was, it was crazy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Come on up to the mic, my friend. Thank you very much. Great question.
Hi, friends.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice to see you again.
Yes, so I just wanted to say that it has been great getting to know the podcast because it feels like we get to know you guys even more. Not just your characters from Boy Meets World or Girl Meets World, but now I know things that Ryder loves Survivor. You know, Danielle has a bunny that went around with Andrew Keegan. And then of course, you know, Will loves MASH. So those are things that's great to know now. You guys are on more of a personal level. So my husband and I, we grew up watching Boy Meets World separately, and then we found each other and started watching Girl Meets World together, and now we're traveling, seeing Pod Meets World together. So it's pretty cool that we've been able to do that and share that in our lives.
I'm so happy that we are the foundation of your marriage.
We will take all the credit.
The Topanga shirt is the only shirt of a girl my husband's allowed to wear.
I love it.
But my question for you guys is, do you realize what kind of impact you have as far as people that grew up and now are rewatching it as a family? Or I know you guys met our son today, Brody. We can't wait for him to grow up watching it. And now we get to show him the picture we took today, so that's going to be pretty special when he gets older. So do you guys know what kind of impact that is on people? Because it's made a huge impact on us in our lives.
Thank you.
Very sweet.
We've really come to learn it.
Yeah, recently.
You know, really over the last few years.
Yeah.
Both meeting people at conventions like this, where you come up and tell us stories like you just said, but then really through the podcast, you know, like we have the Pod Meets World Show at gmail.com email account, and you guys send us your emails, and the live tour where we did meet and greets, and so many of you came out and shared your stories with us, and it's really had a massive impact on us. I think before that, we had the general understanding that the show was special to people. but I don't know that we understood it on the same level that we have come to understand it over the last few years. And we so appreciate the way you guys share your stories with us. And you know, it's a wonderful feeling to know that the years we spent putting all we had into the show came across on screen and made a difference in your lives. So it's always a pleasure to hear. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Come on up to the mic.
Hi there. Just wanted to say thank you all so much for spending your childhoods helping us get through ours. We learned so much from Mr. Feeney, but you guys helped us understand it from the kid perspective, so thank you for taking your time and doing all of that. A lot of your voiceover work is also special to a lot of us too, so I was wondering if you could kind of comment on, you kind of started to go into the camaraderie on the set. Has that been your experience when you've done voiceover work in the past, or you know, what is that art form like compared to your time on Boy Meets World?
There's that same kind of camaraderie, there really is. I mean, it obviously changes project to project, which Boy Meets World, we had 7 years to be together and really get to know each other, but and you're together every day, you're rehearsing every day, you're in school together every day, where, you know, like Kim Possible, for instance, I think I'd met Christy 4 times by the end of the series. So it was, you know, she was going to school in New York, we were recording in LA, we'd record once a week for 3 hours. So you get to know each other and you become friendly with people, but it's not the same kind of family. We don't like to use that word a lot when it comes, because at the end of the day, you're a professional and you're doing a job. And I think people throw that word family around a little too much, but so it's a different kind of camaraderie, but it's certainly there, and this is now changing, thankfully. The voiceover world is opening up a little more to people, but when I really started back in the day, there was it seemed like 50 of us doing every show. So every time you walked in, you were with the same 10 people every time. And so you really got to know people, but a level like this, especially a level like this with the 3 of us where we're doing Pod Meets World and traveling together and our families know each other. I mean, that's very, very rare. So I definitely have liked way more actors than I haven't liked, but it's a very small number of people that I'm this close to in my life, if that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Come on up to the mic. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for being here. 2-part question, kind of. In your time away from Boy Meets World and Girl Meets World, have you thought of episodes that, like, you're surprised that was never made, in a way? Or, second question, if you could make any Boy Meets World episode with yourselves as writer or director, filming yourselves in the past, which ones would you choose?
Great question.
Wow.
What?
I didn't quite get the first one, actually. I got the second one, but the first one was, what episodes do we wish had been made?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Like you're surprised that show was that
I'm still
concept.
confused by the second one. If
You get to go back in time and be a writer-director with us as your cast. What episode of Boy Meets World do you make?
And there's
So
no
we're writing for
butterfly
ourselves.
paradox.
Yeah, or directing, yeah. So you're getting to
Okay.
go back and work with young us and make an episode of Boy Meets World. What do you do?
Oh, God, I
Same
run the other
question
direction.
in a way.
Thank you for clarifying. I was like, wait, you're
Okay.
hopping in a DeLorean, you're going back in
I
time.
get you.
Okay, yeah.
I get. Okay. What do you wish they made?
Yeah, that's basically it. What do you wish they made, and what way? We would just have like a one-off crazy episode
Yeah.
every season
Yeah.
where we could all work together. That would have been really
Yeah,
fun.
News Radio did that too. Just
Yeah.
a weird, random.
Yes, and so that's what I would go back and do. Is like give us
Great
all a
idea.
chance. I guess we kind of did. Now that I say it,
You know, like
because we did the
wrestling
time
episodes,
travel.
the time travel
In the
episodes.
50s, a lot.
And Mr.
Yeah.
Grumpy over here, when you watch those episodes, you're like, what is this?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this?
Why am I in the 50s all of a sudden?
Why do I talk like this in your guys' voice?
What do you say, Ryder? He talks like this. What's going on?
Oh my God. Fine. You know, really. really, the answer is I would go back and have us work together. Like, I just love to like be in scenes with you guys more. Like, we're halfway through season 4 and we've talked to each other maybe twice.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's like there's this lip service given to like Sean and Topanga are friends. I'm like, no, we're not. I think that'll happen later, but so I would go back and do that. And I definitely would go. Yeah, I would probably go back to like 2nd or 3rd season and do something in that realm because that could have used some help.
Yeah, I think season 1 Topanga was so well defined.
Yeah.
You knew exactly who she was, and she was quirky and offbeat and unique. And I understand, as we've talked about on the podcast a little bit, I understand that once a character is going to be in every episode, there needs to be a certain mainstreaming of that character. Otherwise, in every episode, they are a caricature instead of a real, like, relatable part of the normal world character. But I feel like after that first season, there really wasn't a whole lot of character development for Topanga outside of the fact that she was Corey's girlfriend and that Corey loved her. And I would love to see more development of who Topanga was, and we had Trini Brittany Murphy play a best friend, but she was only there for 2 episodes. We don't really, she mentions other friends. I think there was one episode where she had a friend. We talked like she has a friend, but then we never see that friend again. So I think I would probably go back in time and devote one episode in maybe season 3 or season 4, where we get a little more world building of Topanga's and we get to know who she is as a teenager now that she is not quite as quirky and offbeat as she was in season 1.
I would like, especially towards the end, if they ever tried to give Eric any sort of a romantic relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, they just never, it's like, all right, everybody else, hook up with somebody, really learn your character. Now, Eric, go dance in the corner and be funny. And I think it would have been nice to have more of a depth to Eric and maybe find somebody, some kind of partner that could have settled him down a little bit. I think would have been an interesting way to go. As for your second question, I still don't fully understand it. So I'm gonna say 18. No, I would like to, if I was gonna write something, I would have written exactly what Ryder was talking about, where every season we would have, and I know we kind of did it, but it would have been the most out-of-body, crazy, like the show News Radio, once a year they would start with Phil Hartman looking at the camera and going, "Hi, I'm Phil Hartman, and we're gonna do something totally different tonight. Tonight, News Radio takes place on the Titanic." And they would all do an episode on the Titanic. They did one in space, they did one. So doing something like that as a total ensemble, I think would have been a whole lot of fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that was like an SAT question. Yeah, and I think you.
No, it was well worded. I just didn't understand it, which is why, much like the SATs.
Yes. You all get 1,600, so well done. Well done. Hello, your question right into the microphone.
It's good to see all 3 of you again.
Hi.
Hi, so my question is, as a fellow podcaster, you guys have the best podcast when it comes to rewatches, so Popping Rose World is amazing.
Oh, thank you.
So I gotta say, what I love about your podcast is the chemistry and the strength. So how has the podcast strengthened your bonds?
Well, Jacob, right?
Yes.
Okay, why don't you give a shout out to your podcast?
What's it called?
It's Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR.
Okay, thank you. Nice. Ryder, how's it strengthened our bond?
I think it's just not the way you said that. You know what's great about it is that I think we always kind of, pushed each other's buttons and intentionally and teased each other. That was always part of our dynamic growing up and being adult. But I'm so much cooler with it now, and because the audience has kind of been in on it, and the feedback has been that's okay, and that's actually what they like the most. And I don't, if anybody listens to the podcast, they know this, I'm more uptight, I'm a little less prone to teasing or I think it's cool. I think it's great. So I think now I'm much more, hopefully, less sensitive,
Yeah.
more willing to like roll with like the punches or give a little punch every now and then, and just have fun and enjoy that is what constitutes our relationship.
Yes, I agree. I think, I mean, that's such a good answer because it's true. I think the thing that I love about it is that, you know, when someone's, like, you say something about your family and you're like, ugh, my mom, and then somebody else is like, you know, your mom, and you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm allowed to say that about my mom. You're not allowed to say that about my mom. That's kind of how we could feel about ourselves. Like, when other people maybe would poke fun at a characteristic or a trait about us, it feels like pointed and hurtful. When these two do it, I actually really take it as like I guess I do that. And that's okay. I'm flawed and they still love me. And if anything, it helps me love myself with all my flaws, because it has just given me a self-acceptance, knowing that they see me for who I really am and are still in my corner. And so that has made, and I think that also comes through. The love we have for each other, everyone can feel. And I hope you guys feel that we have it for you as well.
Definitely. It really has helped point out Danielle's flaws. That's what I've gotten for the podcast mostly, is like, she's come to accept them, so like, not this flawed. No. you know the thing, it's just, oh my God, this is gonna sound so hokey, like I'm making this, but I swear to God, this is the truth. And this is why the writing on our show was so good. It really has shown me that you don't have to be blood to be family. It's such an important message of the show, but I keep my world very, very small. I deal with anxiety, and it's just, I from the time I was 19 or 20, and it makes my world very, very small, so I'm very careful of who I allow into it, and that's not always the best trait, but when you allow the right people into it, they open your world up for you. And that's what they've done for me more than anything else, is they've allowed me to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And it's pretty great, and that's because of her flaws.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Thank you, happy potting, sir.
Thank you, Jacob.
Come on up to the mic.
Oh, I'm so nervous right now.
Very nervous.
This is like a dream come true for me, so I'm just taking this in, seeing you guys here. I've watched Boy Meets World 3 times.
Yeah.
At different stages of my life. I've grown up with Sean, Corey, and Topeka, quite literally, watching it the 3rd time through, now in college, so. First, little housekeeping. If I had a nickel for every time I heard about the Scream episode, I have a lot of nickels. But I love it, because seeing you guys all together was one of the best episodes ever, so. And then, Will, your comment about Eric having a romantic interest was really great to hear, because a lot of people agree with you about how they wanted more for Eric, and I'm conflicted because Eric was my crush.
Eric had enough love to go around, that's fine.
He really did. He really was so lovable and so wonderful, so. Everyone was lovable and wonderful. I'm good. Okay, so my question is, I wrote it down. Were there ever any storylines or character moments that maybe didn't sit well or resonate with you guys?
I don't remember thinking it at the time, but when we watched the episode where Sean had the pig, and Topanga was so determined to get rid of that stinking pig, I was like, lady! Mind your business! So I don't remember thinking it at the time, but in the rewatch of it, it bothered me. I wanted to like reach through the TV and tell Topanga to leave Sean and little Corey alone.
It's funny because the rewatch did it for me as well. I had completely forgotten my part in this episode entirely, but the Thanksgiving episode where the Matthews joined the hunters at the trailer park, and I get why they had to do it, because they had to make it seem like there was a huge class difference between the two. But Eric, I thought, just came off like a jerk that entire episode. Yeah, so that was one, and that's what I love about doing the rewatch is I completely forgot that storyline, completely forgot. I remembered the episode because it's hard to forget the episode where the cabal of trailer park people come to try to kill the Matthews. But Eric was just such a jerk that I completely put that out of my head. So seeing that again was like, ooh, I didn't like that at all. So yeah, that retroactively did not sit right with me.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about on the podcast a lot of the Corey Topanga stuff. But at the time, none of that bothered me.
Yeah.
You know, when we were filming it, I remember thinking all the Corey Topanga stuff
It's romantic.
it was romantic and made sense. And now I look at it and it feels really, lots of red flags. But at the time, I remember, and we haven't gotten into this on the rewatch for the podcast, but at the time, like, I remember all the like prom, honeymoon, Corey Topanga, will they not sleep together stuff. I hated as a teenager. I remember thinking, this is so dumb, and like, this is getting a lot of attention. I just don't know if anybody cares, and I wonder how we're gonna feel when we get into it. So yeah, I remember at the time being like, it didn't accurately reflect the conversations I was having about sex at the time with my contemporaries, and a bunch of, at the time 45-year-old men were basically writing about teenage sex lives. That felt weird. That definitely felt weird at the time, and I'm sure it's going to when we get there.
Yeah, stay tuned, everybody. Stay tuned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What was your name?
Oh, it's Alexia.
Alessia. Thank you.
Come on up to the mic, my friend.
Hi.
Hi.
First thing, I want to just give some background to my question. So growing up, I started watching it when I was like 7, 8. Now I'm 18, almost 19 this year, and my dad forced me to watch Girl Meets World actually, because he used to watch Boy Meets World growing up. So he's like, this will help you learn life lessons. I just wanted to say I've been growing up watching you guys, and then this year I ended up watching Boy Meets World, and I see like all the positive effects on it. And I hear your guys' voices on other Disney shows, like Ryder, I Love You, as Tom on Star vs. the Forces of Evil.
Yeah.
That's my favorite Disney show.
Thanks.
So, but my question here for you is, how does it feel to see younger people come up and say how much they've enjoyed watching you guys on Girl Meets World and Boy Meets World? How does it feel to see younger people approach you to that?
It's so great.
It's amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, really
Yeah.
amazing.
To me, it speaks to the strength of the writing. It's hard. I think that aspect is harder for us to take any credit for. Because it really shows that even though we were very much of the 90s, right? In our clothing, in our language, in the way our hair, like there's so many things that we look back on that we were presenting, that we were putting out there, that were very much of the moment and very dated, and yet the strength of the writing and the sort of archetypal character, like the characters, has made it extend beyond its time in a way that I think a lot of shows from the 90s didn't, or don't have that same level. And so I don't think we can take as much credit, but I think it does make me feel really good about the writing of the show, that there was something a little more eternal going on in the writing.
Absolutely. I couldn't add anything more to that. That's exactly the way we feel, and we talk about it amongst ourselves all the time. And it's the thing we've noticed the most doing the podcast is like, wow, this show's great. And it's not about our individual performances, although we have moments where we say that was terrible or that was really good. But the writing, it's the thing that's made it last and speak to generation after generation after generation. And, though people ask us like, oh, when people come up, like, what would you say the average age of your fans are? And it's like, honestly, from like 22 to 46, and then sometimes even 6, 7, 12, and that's because the show can speak to you no matter which age you are.
Thank you.
Come on up.
Hi, I'm Noah, and I'm just wondering if Eric can do the Feeny call.
I'm sorry, I get asked to do the Feeny call, but I don't do it anymore. I'm so sorry. A number of reasons. One, I gave it to the girls on Girl Meets World, but I gave it to them because it was kind of taken from me by the producers without really asking. So because of that, I passed it on to them, and they do it from now on. But I appreciate it. Sorry. And I just hurt one of the younger generation of people that watch our show. There you go.
That was your chance, Will.
Passed on. They've been heard.
Hi, so my question, so I grew up watching you guys, and then now my daughter is starting to watch Girl Meets World, and she's very much a Topanga and a Riley. So what would you say to the Topangas and the Rileys of the world?
To the Topangas and the Rileys, I would say no matter what, don't change. Like, just continue on the path that you're on, and even if you feel like an outlier, eventually the thing that makes you different is going to be the things that other people eventually love and appreciate the most about you and wish that they had. So just stay true to who you are.
Thank you.
Excellent advice. Excellent. Thank you very much.
She's dressed like Topanga with the red lipstick on.
He's in one Topanga.
Do you still remember the dance?
Of course.
Use a mirror, babe.
I was wondering what your favorite location that you filmed on during the show was. Like, I know you went to Disney World and some other places.
He's so hurt he didn't get to go to Disney World.
Still upset about it.
Looked like it was fun.
So Will, is your favorite location the back lot, or no, you went to...
Singled out. They did send me to Lake Placid in 9-degree weather to skate with Nancy Kerrigan. That was fun.
You had fun.
I had fun. I got to skate with Nancy Kerrigan. I left 3 toes there, but I had fun. That's way better than Disney World, where you can ride the rides all the time by yourself.
I feel like that's an answer I'm not...
I'll get over it eventually. It's only been 30
I know, because I'm
years.
like, did we really shoot in too many places?
We didn't. Well, you got to do the yogurt cup episode.
Right.
That's right. I did get to go to Griffith Park, which is 20 minutes from the studio in Los Angeles. You're right, Ryder. That's true. I often overlook that.
I think you've been on location more than
I know,
me then, because I literally only went to Disney World and a wrestling match. Which
We only went to Disney World in Paris. You were at
wrestling
Wendy's at one time.
So those are the only 2, and yeah, the wrestling match was really, really awful.
We never. I wonder if I think we're one of the few shows, especially one of the few quote-unquote family shows that went as long as we did that not do a big vacation episode.
Hawaii,
Australia. They went to Australia on Modern Family. Like, every one of these shows eventually goes somewhere, and we never had that.
Just Disney World.
Sorry, Will.
Disney World was great. It was super fun. We had the run of the back lot. All of us had VIP guest relations cast members in their vests, their plaid vests, taking us to the front of any line of any ride we wanted to. It was pretty great, not gonna lie. There's Hollywood Tower of Terror like 14 times, just as many times as we wanted.
Yeah, we had this porta potty at Griffith Park. It was almost not broken. It was great. A lot of fun.
Thank you. I love your outfit.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was right by the horses in Travel Town and
Right, yeah,
Park.
right.
The pony rides.
We gotta go back and do a vacation episode.
Yeah, your owed a trip to Hawaii where you find a magical idol that causes...
That was a great episode of the Brady Bunch.
Yes, it was. Your question.
Hi there. I grew up watching Boy Meets World and met my husband, who also grew up watching Boy Meets World. We still wind down at night with our box sets because they're grainier than the Disney Plus versions and feel better when you watch it.
That sounds
And so you guys are our comfort show, and I'm wondering what your comfort show is. Will, I might be able to guess.
Yeah.
But
You guys want to say mine?
MASH.
as well.
Do I have a comfort show?
Isn't your comfort show shutting off the TV?
I know. I didn't watch TV much as a kid, which I nobody likes that person who says that, so I'm sorry to be that person. But I did watch...
that person.
I know you are
Hey,
that
I'm
person.
that person.
I don't have a TV.
Great. You got Ryder liking you. Nice. That's always when you're like, ooh.
Yeah, I didn't watch a ton of TV as a kid.
Or even now as an adult, what your comfort show is.
Even as a little kid, did you ever have anything? Cartoons?
Sesame Street. I did
Okay, there
watch
you go.
Sesame Street.
Sesame Street.
And so yeah, it was really fun when I had children, and then I was like, I'm gonna put Sesame Street on for you, and then they didn't care about Sesame Street, and so that was disappointing. I don't know. I like the idea of a comfort show. I guess you know what I would say? I did as an adult watch all of The Office and all of Parks and Rec. And either one of those shows, if they are on, it's my feeling of like, I don't watch that enough. I should watch that again. So those are probably my two.
Ryder, do you have a comfort album? No, seriously, was there something you would put on at night to go to sleep?
Well, you know, what I do, I listen to podcasts and audiobooks. That's like really what I do. And so, like, the podcast that I listen to is Hello from the Magic Tavern, which is like this improv fantasy thing that I just love. And I fall asleep to that every night, or when, so I love that. But, I've actually, with my son, when he was little, we started watching Octonauts. And I find Octonauts to be the most soothing, pleasant, yet still educational.
Yes.
I love it. And that just and my son still loves it. He's 9, but if a new Octonaut season came out, we would be like right there. So Octonauts is pretty comforting.
I feel that way about Bluey. Oh my gosh, I love Bluey. Yeah.
Wackadoo.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to take one more. So whoever's coming up next, anybody? All right. It's all you, my friend.
That is the best child cosplay I've ever seen.
Yes.
How old are you?
7.
Hi.
Wait, I mean 8.
You're 8? What's your
The
name?
years go by fast, don't they?
Okay. My question is, how did it felt like when you didn't go to Disneyland?
Well, what did it feel like when they told you you're not going?
First of all, your comic timing is impeccable.
You're a little genius.
So brilliant. Thing I'm gonna remember this entire weekend is that moment right there, more than anything else.
They also told you Stacy Keenan was going to be there, and
Yes.
you had really wanted to meet Stacy Keenan.
Yeah.
And then they said, she will be in Disney World, and you will not. What did that feel like?
I think I also put on some weight that week. Should we talk about that?
You ate your feelings?
You know what it felt like? It felt like while I was horribly disappointed, I knew that I had to keep going because the strongest actor had to stay back and anchor the show while the not necessary actors went and rode some rides. So,
It's a valid point.
yeah, great question. though.
Excellent question.
That was awesome.
Excellent question. We're going to end on that. I'm going to start the GoFundMe to send you to Disney World. Ryder, Will, Danielle, thank you guys so much. You guys will be at your tables all weekend. So go see them, experience.
Thank you guys.
Yeah,
Thank you, everyone.
And thank you guys so much.